Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Nationwide. Speak with Jonathan Ginsburg in Oceanside or David Grodner in Brooklyn today. By Altice One, enjoy the ultimate viewing experience with Altice One only from Optimum. By Toyota, visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. And by the Aetna Better Health of New Jersey healthcare provider of the game, Rumor Medical Services Incorporated. Did you know it's a bobblehead night at Citi Field? But not just any bobblehead, not just Thor, but Noah Syndergaard as Thor, superhero. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play Game 3 of their 4-game series against Atlanta. Mets lost last night, but their superhero, Jacob deGrom, was on the mound, and he turned in another stellar performance. 8 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. But, of course, given the fate that Jacob has suffered all year, he took the loss.
He gets a Larry in the papers today around the country, and it's just incredible that this man is 5-7 on the year. It's just an awesome season that he's having outside of his record, obviously. Look at the bottom graphic right there. Since 1916, this hasn't happened. It's just amazing. What was interesting last night, Gary, was that he threw over 30% changeups, went out of his normal routine, and was quite successful with it.
6th time this year he has thrown 8 or more innings, but he's 1-3 in those starts. The other pitchers have thrown 8 innings, 2 runs or less, 73-9. It gives you an idea just the kind of hard luck that deGrom, the Major League's ERA leader, has pitched in. Tonight he turns it over to Zach Wheeler, who's had more success winning games lately. In fact, he's won his last 3 starts, first time in his career.
Well, his last 6 starts, his ERA is 2.90, and he has pitched well. He really turned the corner on June 1st on that start. Started throwing a split finger and a changeup, and it really gave him that off-speed pitch that he needed. He's always had the blazing fastball, and what's been interesting is after he started throwing the off-speed stuff, his breaking stuff has turned the corner. Now he has become a complete pitcher. He's on a roll.
For the Braves, Kevin Gausman, acquired at the trading deadline from Baltimore, makes his first start for Atlanta.
Well, he's a lifetime pitcher for the Orioles, 39-51, a sub-500 pitcher. He's a back end of a rotation guy. This is his first appearance and obviously his first start for the Braves. They needed some pitching help. They wouldn't got it.
It's an opening when we talked all about pitching, Keith. What's with that? Pitching. You. Mets and Braves coming up. roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the New York Mets. Get to Citi Field for Free Shirt Friday, August 24th, when the Mets take on the Nationals at 7:10 p.m. All fans in attendance will receive a Mets t-shirt courtesy of Taiwan Tourism. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/tickets. Here's our Diggin' Deep performance presented by New York 811. Shohei Ohtani cannot pitch right now, but he can hit 2 home runs last night. 4 for 5, drove in 3 runs as the Angels beat the Indians 7-4. Zach Wheeler making his way in, set to face his hometown team for the second time this year. Mets and Braves. Wheeler's first pitch is coming up. Zach Wheeler trying to get a foothold.
Really, I mean, they really compacted in home plate too. And you really have to, just get in there and dig it up.
Starting lineup for the Braves, they don't do a lot of switching around. Tyler Flowers will catch tonight. Dansby Swanson back in at shortstop, otherwise the same unit for Atlanta. Braves have won 5 straight, matching their longest winning streak of the season. Half game out of first place as they start the night. Ronald Acuna leads off. Wheeler's first pitch swung and missed, and we're underway. 98, Wheeler's first fastball.
Well, the Toyota numbers don't really tell the story. We said in the open he has really turned it on since June 1st, his last 11 starts.
And he blows that one by Acuna, and it's 0-2. That's the pitch that's given Acuna the most trouble early in his major league career, and the Mets have gone right after him with fastball.
Oh, he threw that one right by him. And Wheeler's so free and easy, and the ball just explodes out of his hand.
He blows him away on 3 fastballs to start the night. That's an impressive beginning.
And what's most impressive, we know that Wheeler throughout his career has been a guy that has a trouble throwing strikes. And here he is out of the chute, pumping 3 straight fastballs. I mean, he is really impressive.
Throwing harder than he has at any point in his career, and his velocity has only increased as this season has gone along. Here's Ozzie Albies. Different game plan against him. He's a guy who loves to sit on a first pitch fastball. And Wheeler does throw a fastball right into his hands at 99 for strike one.
And it's just free and effortless. And there's the shift on young Albies. He's 21 years old. Acuna, 20 years old.
And the curveball from Wheeler. He swings over the top of that, and it's 0-2. 5 straight strikes for Wheeler to start the night.
Well, I tell you what I've seen of the National League so far, this is the best hitting ball club I've seen. And this is a big test for Wheeler.
Albies with a weak ground ball foul. Well, Wheeler's faced the Braves only once this year. That was in June in Atlanta. It was not a good start. He gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3. Lifetime mark against the team he grew up rooting for. 9 starts. He's 4-3, 3.62. Remember, he made his debut in Atlanta back in 2013. Again, the 0-2 to Albies, and he pulls him back off the plate at 99.
He is rushing it up there. And that'll get your attention. Let's see Mr. Albies. Let's make sure and see if he keeps his fanny in there this time. Remember that Wheeler's got that off-speed pitch now that he's worked into his repertoire.
Splitter that has pretty much replaced his circle change. He throws a slider down and in. 2-2. Zach 6 scoreless innings against the Pirates last Sunday, a game in which he drove in the game's only run. 3 straight wins in 3 straight starts for the first time in his career. He is really blossoming. 2-2, and he fouls off the fastball. Well, there you see how much he's been in the strike zone with his fastball recently.
And folks, he's been using his fastball predominantly, so that's even more impressive. It sets everything else up. When you got a blazer like he does, it just sets all your other pitches up.
7th pitch of the at bat to Albies, and he strikes him out with a splitter for the second out. So Wheeler starts the night with back-to-back strikeouts of the 2 youngsters at the top of the Braves order.
Let me tell you something. That's going to get most hitters going all down the line. You can go back to Babe Ruth. That is just a wicked pitch, and we'll segue into the Lexus Mets starting infield. Wilmer back in the lineup at first. Todd Frazier, 3rd start since coming off the DL. Austin Jackson getting a lot of playing time in center field. Defense in center.
Freddie Freeman fouls off the first pitch slider. Freddie's got great career numbers against Wheeler. 8 for 16 with 2 home runs. It's 2 for 7 in this series.
He's got his work cut out for him in this game. Wheeler's upped his game.
Not only 8 for 16 against Wheeler with 2 home runs, but 10 walks as well. So Wheeler has had a big problem getting Freddie out, as most Met pitchers have. Misses down with the fastball. 2-1.
Well, everybody, if ball hits the dirt, they get a new ball. Boy, if I was a catcher, I'd throw it right back to the pitcher.
Not sure pitchers today would know what to do with a scuffed ball.
Should take him out to dinner with Whitey Ford. I'm sure he'd give him an earful.
Two coming. Struck him out. Zach Wheeler with a spectacular start to the night. Strikes out the side in the opening inning. Mets come to bat with no score. Well, those are the guys in the lineup tonight. Now identified in print as opposed to visually. Your Geico Mets starting lineup. Wilmer Flores, after sitting last night, back in and hitting second tonight. Jeff McNeil, after sitting last night, back in at second base. As the Mets go up against Kevin Gausman, who makes his Atlanta Braves debut.
And there's his Land Rover numbers. As I said in the open, the 39 and 51 pitcher. This is his 128th major league start.
Brandon Nimmo 1 for 7 in the series. It'll lead off home run on Thursday night.
He's given up 21 home runs this year, but you know, he's pitching over there at Camden Yards, which is a little tin can over there.
12 of those 21 home runs have come to hitters leading off an inning. So he's had trouble getting innings started. Gausman, like Zach Wheeler, was a very high draft pick. He was the 4th overall pick in the draft by the Orioles out of LSU in 2012. Wheeler was the number 6 pick out of high school by the Giants. And Gausman has always been a guy they expected to be a standout, and he's never quite reached that level. At least he didn't in Baltimore, and the Braves are hoping he can get a little boost coming over to the National League.
A change of environment. He has not had success against the National League. In 18 starts against the National League, he's 3-10 with an ERA of 6.33.
1-2 to Nimmo, and he pops one up into shallow center, and Swanson will call for it. 1 out.
And the Brave defense on the infield. They flip-flop the catchers. Tyler Flowers' turn tonight. They lose a little athleticism. Flowers more of a power hitter than Suzuki. And in the outfield, they've got, with a right-hander out there, they really have the good defense. Obviously, 2 Gold Glovers out there. Yes. Nice catch. He's made a few of those in Ciarte.
Just don't fall off the horse. Wilmer Flores 2 for 4 in this series. Sat last night after starting 16 straight games at first base. That's the longest stretch of first base starts for any Met this year. It's been kind of a rotating system going back to Adrian Gonzalez, who had the position opening day. Gausman is pitching for the first time in a week. His last start for the Orioles was last Saturday against Tampa Bay, a win. Fastball off the plate at 95-3-1. He went 7 in that game, allowed 2 runs and 9 hits. Mets have faced Gausman before, twice, once in relief, once as a starter. The start came 3 years ago, so the Mets only have limited at-bats against him. Flores 1 for 2 against Gausman, and he grounds one down to third. Camargo handles it and throws out Wilmer 2 away. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Michael Conforto. Michael's 0 for 7 in this series, and after a hot start coming out of the All-Star break, just 2 for his last 15.
Yeah, he's kind of tapered off a little bit. Steady diet of off speed, and he's yet to make the adjustment. He hasn't figured it out. Deep in the box. Take a look at Flowers here. See if he goes in his squat or gets down on a knee. There he goes. Interesting. He didn't do it the last pitch. He's a big, powerful guy.
You don't suppose he's adjusting his stance based on the pitch?
You better not. The thing is about that, Gary, is you can watch him, folks, at home. The reason why the catchers squat is because now the shin guards are the ones, your shins are exposed and you've got protection. When you get down the knee, check his thigh out, and it's totally exposed to a foul tip. See, it's totally exposed. And the greaves only go so far.
The greaves? We're talking about knights in shining armor.
Look at this. Interesting.
A little cheat sheet. What to throw on 1 and 2 to Michael Conforto?
I just don't think that should be allowed. I'm sorry. But I guess.
Grounded right into the shift. Swanson to the right of the bag, throws him out, and that retires the side. Gausman gets the Mets 1-2-3. No score after 1. On the Braves at 110. All fans in attendance will receive a Topps commemorative baseball card pack. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases after the game in the Mr. Met Dash, courtesy of Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Nick Markakis takes a fastball for a strike as we start the second inning. Markakis 1 for 7 in the series. Still leads the National League in base hits with 131. See what Wheeler can do for an encore after striking out the side in the first inning. That, by the way, is the first time in Zach's career he has ever struck out the side in the first inning. There was a time when the first inning was a big problem for him, as recently as earlier this year. Now the first inning has become a great jumping off point for him. Mike Wheeler's allowed 1 first inning run now in his last 12 starts, including this one. Banner day.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
Markakis gets jammed and fouls it off 2-2.
See, he can really get in there, up and in on those hitters with that fastball.
Johan Camargo on deck, then Ender Inciarte for the Braves in the second. Two-two to Markakis, and the curveball wraps around the plate. Gary Cederstrom felt it did not cross the plate, and it's 3-2.
Oof, that was close. And that could have been a ring up right there.
So I'm talking to Plawecki, who questioned the call. 3-2 coming, and Markakis fouls off the high heat.
So they're having a hard time laying off the high heat. You notice Freddie Freeman chased on the strikeout to end the inning.
Keep in mind, this is one of the hardest teams in the National League to strike out.
Yes.
They came into the series with the fewest strikeouts in the league. Right now they have the second fewest. But 3 strikeouts to start Wheeler's night. He's 3-2 on Markakis, leading off the second. And that's ball 4, and the Braves have the first base runner of the night. Well, here is the first inning for Zach.
3 straight fastballs here, and this is right down the middle. Upstairs. That's a splitter, wicked. And there's upstairs. Up and down the ladder, Gary. To grandmother's house we go.
And sit down. Here's Johan Camargo. He's had a big impact on this series. A 2-run double on Thursday night. A home run last night against Jacob deGrom. Camargo's got 13 home runs this year, 4 of them against the Mets. He's had a very nice sophomore season. He's had to earn and re-earn the starting third base job. And he fouls away a fastball, and it's 0-2.
All right.
Think about that Braves infield with Albies at 21 and Swanson at 24 and Camargo at 24.
Yep. And then you throw in the Acuna out in left field, who's 20.
It's a lot to build on. 0-2 to Camargo, and he hits one late and foul. Your Lowe's whole team together, home run leaders for the Braves. I don't think you would have penciled in Ozzie Albies to be leading them in home runs at this point of the season.
He got off to that red hot streak early in the year. Hit a lot of home runs early, but still been consistent.
Again, the 0-2 and the curveball lined, and McNeil reels it in, and getting back to first is Markakis. He sort of mistimed his jump, but he caught it anyway on that liner off the bat from Camargo for the first out.
Well, it was a soft liner, and on a full swing you can get fooled and jump too quick. I think he's okay here.
It's sort of coming down, but either way.
You know, your guy takes a full swing, Gary, and you think he's hit a bullet, and it's a soft liner. You can get tricked.
So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Ender Inciarte, who's gone 0 for 5 in this series. Choking up from the left side, always a threat to lay one down, and Frazier's in on the grass. And Zach throws him a slider that he swings at, 0-1. AT&T achieving more. Keith referenced those numbers. Last 6 starts, 3-0, 2.56, as Wheeler just gets better and better. Inciarte gets jammed and pops one up. Frazier coming over near the corner of the dugout, but it's just into the seats.
Well, you're seeing again another hitter chasing that high, hard one, and boy, if you're on that third base, Brave dugout, someone's got to be in there chirping, saying, "Hey, make him get that fastball down," because that pitch, all you're going to do is swing and miss, or pop it up, or foul it back. Brian Snitker, the manager of the Bravos, done a terrific job with this team.
Kevin Seitzer, their hitting coach, and they really hit in his image. Contact hitter, line drive hitter during his career, and the Braves have been that over the last couple of seasons. And now the talent is improving. And a nasty curveball to strike out Inciarte for the second out. 4th strikeout for Wheeler, 2 down in the inning.
Well, if you work upstairs with that high fastball and you throw a hard, you're out in front, you can throw that hard curve in the dirt.
So 2 out. Markakis still at first after a leadoff walk, and here's Tyler Flowers. 0 for 4 in this series. He has a home run against Wheeler in 4 career at bats. Zach's faced 6 batters, thrown a first pitch strike to all 6. And 7 for 7.
Tell you what, he's coming out here looking sharp every 5 days.
Remember, this is his first start since the trading deadline, when the Mets opted not to make a deal for Wheeler, who was certainly on the block. They felt as though teams were valuing him at a level below what the Mets were valuing him at. The Mets working off what they've seen the last 2 months. Other teams feeling as though, you know, after missing 2 years and 80+ innings last year, they're still not sure what Wheeler is. But every time he makes another start, it looks like the Mets might be right. Lifted out to right field, and Nimmo barely has to move. Puts away the fly ball from Flowers, and Wheeler has thrown 2 scoreless innings without a hit. No score in the bottom of the second. Great farmers market there on the
They
weekend.
sure do.
It's awesome.
It is terrific.
And it gets very crowded, but the produce and everything is high quality.
It's fantastic.
Todd Frazier leads off the bottom of the second with the sun reflecting off the building in center field. Might be a tough moment to hit. Todd 0 for 8 in his 2 games since coming back from the disabled list. His average at .209 for the year. Facing Kevin Gausman, who got the side out 1-2-3 in the first inning. And he gets the first pitch breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1. Frazier, then Jeff McNeil and Austin Jackson for the Mets in the second. Mets managed just 2 hits last night.
Boy, you have that reflection. You've really, if you're a right-hand hitter, you really got to focus on not letting it distract you. A left-hand hitter is not going to be an issue.
I mean, it's not in your line of sight as you look out to the pitcher, but it's got to be awfully head-turning to have that glare coming off from your right.
I can tell you about Candlestick Park, Garrett, and Candlestick Park, the old Giants, where the Giants used to play in my day. Most center field lights would be in the gaps, but at Candlestick they were more towards center field. And the one in right center field, I had to tilt I could see it in my right eye, and I had to tilt my helmet when I hit there slightly down on my right side, just to kind of get the lights out of my right eye. And you know, when you get out of your norm doing things, it's kind of a little unsettling.
Splitter misses, and it's 3-2. Gausman got ahead. Now he's gone 3-2 to Frazier, and he hits him. And he threw him a 3-2 splitter and whacked him in the arm. And Frazier's aboard, first man to reach for the Mets tonight. So the Mets have a leadoff base runner, and now Jeff McNeil. McNeil sat last night, making his 7th start since being called up. It's cooled down a bit after a hot start, just 4 for 21. Margot plays in on the grass at third against him. And he hits one out to left field, hit well. Acuna going back to the warning track. It's over his head. It pounces up against the wall. Frazier to third. McNeil pulls in at second with an opposite field double. His first major league double.
Well, he goes with this pitch away. Trying to see if Acuna kept going. Did he have a chance to get it? No, he did not.
So the Mets have a scoring opportunity, second and third and nobody out. Austin Jackson coming up. Jackson 1 for 4 in this series, and he's got that sun issue as well.
Interesting that the Braves would play the corners in here, Freeman and Camargo.
Probably guarding against the bunt because Jackson's been known to do that.
I would play back at third base, yes, but get the first baseman back. Get a right-hander out there. He's going to bunt down the third base line. You know, base hit scores too.
Jackson has the most at bats against Gausman of anybody in the lineup tonight. 2 for 10 against him in his career. And Jackson goes after a fastball and misses, and it's 0-2.
Up and in.
Austin's 5 for 16 since joining the Mets, so hitting over 300 since joining the team. Looks like that glare is lessening now. It's just a slight window where that glare shines right in that right-hand hitter's face.
Well, there it is. I'm looking for Glenn Close to come out from behind there. In the white dress and hat.
0-2 coming. And splitter misses down, 1-2. Gausman throws more splitters than almost any pitcher in the majors. In fact, the only pitcher who's thrown more this year is Masahiro Tanaka. So it's a pitch that you can expect a lot of, particularly in put-away situations. One-two coming, and the fastball got him looking. Jackson a strikeout victim, first of the night for Gausman, and that's the first out of the inning.
Good pitch.
I think Jackson might have thought it was a little high.
No, not at all. He thought it was outside.
Which it was.
Well, hey, that's a borderline strike. Pitcher got the call. The old adage. I hate to say it, Gary, but if it's close enough for the umpire to call the strike, then you got to swing. Unless it's a butcher back there.
Here's Ahmed Rosario. Corners stay in, middle infielders stay back. Second and third, one out. And a good stop by Flowers on a slider in the dirt for ball one.
Well, we noted Rosario's been taking a lot of extra hitting, working on the breaking ball machine. He's been doing a lot of chasing. Got a double last night to the opposite field, right down the line, a soft liner. They're pitching up and in. You see, this is a trend now, Garrett. This is more than a trend. You're seeing more and more teams, and the Mets. We see them every day, with catchers given the high strike zone target.
Golf down the right field side. It'll slice foul. Well, as long as hitters are going to swing at high fastballs with swings that are designed to hit low pitches, it's going to be an effective route for a pitcher.
Absolutely. I think people have been listening to us.
Well, maybe they just noticed it on their own.
Very good at with intelligence agency up here.
1-2 from Gausman. And he just got a piece of that slider.
There you go. Number 7.
Runs all night. You know there are cities where the subway doesn't run all night.
Really?
Washington. They have problems with night games that end late because the metro shuts down.
Wow.
Not our town. 24 hours, 7 days a week. 1-2 coming. And he hits it slowly down to third. The runners are going to hold. Camargo throws. Now breaking for the plate is Frazier. Freeman's throw not in time. Terrific base running by Todd Frazier. He went halfway down the line, followed Camargo, and once Camargo released it, Frazier was home. And the Mets have a 1-0 lead.
Now watch the shortstop here also, if you can, folks. Swanson comes over. And if there's any kind of verbal communication, that's good base running by Frazier, no question. But if Swanson came over, they had him in a pickle. And because he was too far down the line. And I just wonder if Swanson had a verbal command. You know, it's just shout as loud as you can. It's one thing I did. My voice would carry through 55,000 people screaming.
Pilecki drives one to deep center field. Inciarte gets back, though, and he'll put it away to retire the side. Mets cash a run, though, on some fine base running by Frazier. Rosario's groundout brings in the first run of the game. It's 1-0 New York. Was able to score.
Now it's good base running by Frazier to follow the third baseman down, but watch Swanson, the shortstop. This is how you defend it. Now he looks right here. Look where the shortstop is. Now look at Flowers. Flowers has to give the verbal command, or the pitcher is, hey, run him. Because obviously Camargo's back is to the play. So that's when you need verbal communication. But good base running and very heads up by Swanson to come on the backside.
So if they had yelled run him, what would Camargo's move have been? Would he have pivoted to run at Frazier? Would he have thrown the ball behind him?
He could have thrown to, I mean, the catcher could have said, gimme.
Right.
And then he's so far down the line, the catcher runs him back to third towards Swanson. Or you can just run him right at the runner.
Swanson leads off in the third inning. Wheeler, who had to drive in the only run in his last start, now has been provided with one without any of his efforts. Swanson sat last night. He's been struggling with the bat while excelling in the field. He's 0 for 4 in this series. And he chops one down to third, and Frazier handles it. 1 out. Top of your Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Ian Kinsler, recently acquired by the Red Sox. He goes on the DL. Mike Trout hurt his wrist the other day. He's out of the lineup again tonight against the Indians. The Reds, behind Anthony DeSclafani, smothered the Nats in the first of a doubleheader. Gio Gonzalez got chased early. Second game, Matt Harvey's pitching for the Reds against Jeremy Hellickson. The Nats are up 2-1 in the third. Here's Kevin Gausman looking for his first big league hit. He's had 10 at-bats in his career. Played exclusively in the American League. 0 for 2 this year.
With 2 strikeouts. Those are one of those plays, that rundown, and that ground ball that Frazier scored on. Those are plays that you cannot work on in spring training. Those are all baseball instincts. And the verbal commands are so critical there, because there are times when you cannot give hand signals. You've got to use the voice.
And Gausman a strikeout victim. That's 5 strikeouts, first time through the batting order for Wheeler. 2 out and nobody on. Well, just coincidentally, the Mets were out early today to take pitchers fielding practice with all the infielders out there as well. They worked on some bunt plays. They worked on some pickoff plays.
It's like spring training all year round now in the big leagues.
Well, the Mets have had, a lot of deficiencies with controlling the running game, with making certain defensive plays.
They're not the only team that does it. It would drive me crazy. I mean, when I'm out here, 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I got to do spring training drills.
Well, but
that would drive me nuts.
You guys took infield before most games. I mean, you may not have always done it throughout your career, but there was infield practice 45 minutes before the game almost every night.
And that is when they take their ground balls. We took our ground balls, and the outfielders took their fly balls during batting practice. That's changed now.
Acuna drives one out to center. Jackson measures it. And that retires the side. 1-2-3 inning for Wheeler on 10 pitches. Brandon Nimmo will have a turn at bat for the Mets in the bottom of the third. Mets lead at 1-0. Philadelphia, they're paying tribute to Roy Halladay. They put his plaque up on their wall of fame. Carlos Ruiz, who caught Halladay with the Phillies, unveiling the plaque tonight to honor Halladay, who passed away in a plane crash in November.
Roy was really a outstanding guy. Really liked him.
And it has great meaning for tonight's pitcher for the Braves, Kevin Gausman. Like Halladay, Gausman grew up in Colorado. As Wheeler skies one out to left, and Acuna comes toward the line to get it, one out. And this year, Gausman, who had worn number 39 for the Orioles, switched his number to number 34 in tribute to Halladay. Don't know why he doesn't have that number now with the Braves. The bullpen coach Marty Reed has it. But in any event, I'm sure that Gausman is very aware of the tribute tonight in Philadelphia, and that's his guy. And one of many players who had a very heavy heart when learning of Halladay's passing this past offseason. Here's Brandon Nimmo, popped to short his first time up, and he takes a slider for a strike. And the splitter misses down, and he went around on the half swing, says Corey Blazer at third.
Let me see here. Close. Got a nice crowd tonight.
Bobblehead night.
Thor. Lightning.
I mean, you know I'm not a superhero guy.
You're not?
But I don't understand why the wings on the bobblehead are right next to his face. Do you have any idea why that is?
No, and they're kind of up. I kind of like them a little more tilted back.
You're a tilted wing kind of guy?
Does he have his hammer?
Full count to Nimmo with Wilmer Flores on deck.
I had one request for the bobblehead, so I've got one in the back I'm going to take home with me tonight.
See,
I don't
see
know
what I'm saying?
I got it right here.
Hit sharply, but right at Swanson, and he throws out Nimmo, 2 out. So assess this bobblehead for me and its design.
What do you mean assess it?
Well, I mean, what's with the wings on?
I don't understand.
Are they part of the helmet? Is that the idea?
I'm not a Thor follower, so I think it was part of his helmet to protect his jaw from.
Kind of like a C-flap.
Okay.
Right.
And he's got his cape.
The cape is lovely.
But where's his? He needs his weapon. Oh, his weapon's the fastball.
That's right. He got the ball in his hand.
Yes.
Who needs a hammer?
That's clever.
When you can throw 100. It's like David with a slingshot.
Got these 2 little silver metal clasps above his collarbone to hold his cape in place.
He's a little cross-eyed.
He is. Well, you tell me, folks. Is he cross-eyed? It's a long year. Oh, game 108 tonight.
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
It means 108 wins. I remember specifically at 86 Mets, we won 66% and into infinity.
But you didn't win their first 108. There were still 54 more to play.
I understand.
After the first 108, as Wilmer draws a 2-out walk. First one given up by Gausman.
So the point is, we're 2/3 after tonight for the season.
That's true. Here's means there's a lot of baseball left to be played.
And it's a long year, isn't it? And it started early this year, if you remember, folks. I'm sure you do. Late March.
Started really well early, if I recall correctly. Seems like a long time ago. Here's Conforto, who grounded out to short his first time up.
Long, long time ago.
I can still remember.
The day the music died.
Here's a good splitter by Gausman to get even on Conforto. Gausman last year 11 and 12, 4.68 with the Orioles. This year about the same, 5 and 8, 4.43. Walked fewer hitters this year, struck out fewer as well. And he gets the fastball on at the knees for a strike, 1 and 2.
So I'm hoping that Michael's not caught in between there. Took a fastball to hit down in the strike zone. Getting a lot of the off-speed stuff. They want to go up.
Two coming. He smashes one through the hole. A base hit for Conforto. Flores pulls in at second. And so Conforto got a fastball to hit, and he has the Mets' second hit of the night.
Nice level swing on this fastball above the waist. Right down the pipe. Good swing on that one.
Well, Gausman's been hurt a lot on his fastball this year. His four-seam fastball, they're hitting .335 against it this year, and Conforto just added to that. So 2 out and 2 on for Frazier, who was hit by a pitch and scored the only run of this game in the second. So the Mets with 2 hits tonight, matching their total from all of last night. Do you know that last night was the first time ever where the Mets and Yankees played on the same night that they totaled 3 hits? It had never happened before. The Yankees were 1 hit by Rick Porcello. The Mets managed just 2 hits against the Braves. Twice before they had combined for 4 hits, but never 3. The Yankees got 5 hits today, but that turned out not to be enough. As the Red Sox had another great pitching performance, this time from Nate Eovaldi, 8 scoreless innings.
Yeah, we liked Eovaldi. He pitched a good game against the Mets. Was up right here.
He was with Tampa.
Correct. Yeah. Got a little hairy there in the 9th inning, but Boston hung on.
Frazier takes splitter low and in, 1 and 2.
Well, Frazier yet to get a base hit since coming off the DL. 0 for 8.
You know, the Red Sox are now 44 games over 500. First time since 1946.
That would, for them.
Yeah.
So they're 78 and 34. Yes, they are.
On a pace to win 115 games. And Frazier goes down on another splitter. And Gausman has his second strikeout of the night. Mets got 2 aboard. They're turned aside. Still 1-0 after 3. Zach Wheeler with a 1-0 lead as we start the 4th inning. Ozzie Albies leads off for the Braves. He struck out his first time up. And a first pitch curveball in for a strike. Seen DeGrom do that so often this year, and Wheeler has started to execute that first pitch curveball for a strike as well.
Well, he comes out of the chute throwing the fastball. Get the rhythm. Get into the flow of the game.
Grounded into the shift. Nice easy hop for McNeil. But I think it's also instructive how much Wheeler seems to be gaining from DeGrom's expertise in terms of what he's doing between starts, how he's running his bullpen sessions, how he's attacking hitters.
And I think Dave Island has a lot to do with it too. And you know, Mickey Callaway, former pitching coach too. You got 2 of them down there, and I know that Mickey delegates the authority to the pitchers to Dave Island. Dave Island's been around a long time, and you know, was music to my ears in spring training when I heard Dave say we're going to pitch inside and be more aggressive.
Freddie Freeman lines one into right field for the Braves' first hit of the night.
Well, the good hitters against the very tough pitchers, most of the time they find a way to get a knock. I am a convert to Freddie Freeman now. I've seen enough of him. He is just a hitter.
Now 9 for 18 against Wheeler. So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Markakis, who walked his first time up.
Okay, second time around, Markakis swung at a couple high ones on the strike zone. Let's see if they make the adjustment. I should have mentioned that earlier. Second time through the order. Acuna, Albies, Freeman, Markakis all swung at the high one. Let's see if they say, okay, I got to make him get this fastball down. You've seen him once.
Nick Markakis, first time All-Star this year. And he earned it.
Yep.
He's having a fantastic year.
And he's been a guy that comes to play every day, too.
Tied for the league lead in doubles, among other things.
He had the neck issue, right, a couple years ago?
Well, right when he signed with the Braves. Remember, he signed the 4-year contract, and he had the herniated disc in his neck, and it really held him back offensively his first year or two with Atlanta. And Wheeler spots the changeup on the outside. It's 2-1. Two and 2 to Markakis. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes tonight. A young crew otherwise. Chris Siegel, Stu Sherwater, Corey Blazer, all relatively inexperienced, with the veteran Cedarstrom.
Yeah, and we get that information from Sports Info Solutions, which really gives us some really good data. And Gary Cedarstrom calls the outside strike on left-hand hitters a little bit off the plate. But as a hitter, you should know that.
What's interesting to me about Cedarstrom is that over the course of his career, he's been a pretty stingy umpire as far as calling strikes, but his strike zone seems to have expanded this year. He's become a little more of a pitcher's umpire.
I mean, long as it's hittable. I mean, if it's that borderline pitch that's an inch or 2 inches off the plate that he gives it to the pitcher, okay, fine. Maybe I have to move an inch or 2 inches closer to the plate just to get a little more barrel out there. I mean, Lee Wire was a terrific umpire. I know I've mentioned this before. Lee was a big guy and a little squeaky voice, but he would call a pitch 6 inches outside a strike Gary and I would go to Lee. I go, Lee, I cannot hit that pitch. That's almost that's 9 inches, 6 to 9 inches outside. And he said, nope, it's a strike. But he would not call it with 2 strikes. And how do I know that? Because in my own stubborn way, I took it because it was 9 to 6 inches outside. And it was a ball with 2 strikes, and my heart stopped, and Lee called it a ball. And that's how I learned that Lee wouldn't do it with 2 strikes.
Now, you think he knew that he wouldn't do it with 2 strikes?
I don't know. I don't know what was going on. No, but he was consistent with it, Gary.
7th pitch to Markakis, and he pulls one foul.
This is a second good at bat from Markakis. He's a hitter.
I want to know more about Lee Wyer's squeaky voice. Can you?
It's a strike. Lee has a ball. I can't hit that pitch. No, it's a strike. It's a big old.
He was like 6'6".
Oh, he was huge.
Yeah. Like listening to Mike Tyson.
Lee was a good umpire and had the right attitude. So many good umpires in the National League when I played.
Of course, in those days, you had National League umpires, you had American League umpires, and never the twain should meet except in the World Series and the All-Star game.
There were a couple stinkers in there, but the great majority were terrific umpires. How about Markakis? What a battle this is.
So I'm fouling away a pretty good curveball. Any inning that has Freeman and Markakis in it bodes as a rough inning for any pitcher, especially a right-hand pitcher.
It's a pretty good back-to-back left-hand hitters.
Pitch number 9 to Markakis, and he goes down on the splitter. That's a good one by Wheeler. They get a tough hitter in Markakis for the second out.
Boy, I'll say he wins the battle this time. Watch this ball sink. Gets him out in front, knees and black. And still, he just got fooled with the off speed. It's still a good swing. It's a heck of an at bat.
6 strikeouts tonight for Wheeler, who hasn't had a double-digit strikeout game this year. Here's Camargo, lined out to second base his first time up. He fouls back a first pitch fastball.
Now, Camargo kind of shook everything up last night with that home run off DeGrom in the second inning on a fastball inside. He just turned on it and wrapped it around that right field foul pole.
It was only the 8th home run DeGrom's given up this year in 22 starts. He's been very stingy with a long ball. This one's hit out to left. Conforto back a few strides and reels it in to retire the side. Hard-working inning for Wheeler. A hit and 1 left. Still 1-0 Mets. Mets lead 1-0. Jeff McNeil was right in the middle of that run-scoring inning with a double that short-hopped the fence in left field. His first major league double. He leads off the home fourth against Kevin Gausman and takes a breaking ball outside for ball one.
So far, sorry, Gary, I stepped on you there. Gausman's throwing pretty good so far. He got a little sneaky fastball.
Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game.
That's when we're on the road. That's what Haji does. He watches.
I'm so glad that your cat can operate the app.
Oh, he's got a good, all of a sudden he's starting to throw a pretty good splitter. Started doing it last inning against the left-handers, getting a little fade to it, a little sink. He's all over that gum.
Bounced over the mound. Swanson scoops it, bobbles it, and McNeil is safe.
Well, Swanson's sure-handed. That just was the exchange there. He makes that play 99 out of 100. Gets there. He just can't get it out of the glove. A little juggling act.
How would you score that?
I would score it in there.
They're going to score it a base hit.
Okay.
McNeil is 2 for 2. Swanson made an error in the first game of the series, but not charged with one there. So McNeil aboard to lead off in the home fourth. And here's Jackson, who took a call third strike his first time. Kevin Gausman making his Atlanta Braves debut. The Braves gave up 4 minor leaguers and some international slot money to get Gausman. They also had to take Darren O'Day back in that deal, even though O'Day is out for the season with a hamstring injury. So it was certainly a lucrative deal for the Orioles in terms of numbers of bodies. Remains to be seen whether they get a lot of value out of it. 4 players, international slot money, all going Baltimore's way. The slot money, by the way, was of no value to the Braves because of the penalties that they incurred.
Yes.
For mishandling the international market. Cost their former GM John Coppolella his job. Runner goes, it's bunted, foul. So that took on the guise of a run and bunt play. Whether it was designed that way or not, I don't know.
I would seriously doubt that it was a bunt and run.
One and two to Jackson with Rosario on deck. And he grounds one down to third, might be two. Camargo with a quick toss and a nice turn by Albies to get the double play. Camargo got rid of it very quickly, and then Albies had to reach for it to turn it around, and they get the 5-4-3.
It wasn't a great throw from Camargo. Could have got his second baseman in trouble. You don't want to throw it into the runner. I mean, if he's open game right there, you could have slid right into him. What's the rule here, Gare?
You got to go straight into the bag.
Yep, so
well,
you can
do exactly what McNeil did.
Yes,
as long as you can.
So he really could have taken him out.
Yep.
But you know what? If you're a player today, it's not what they want. They're not sure what to do. It's crazy.
I mean, it used to be on a play like that,
you take him out.
Go much wider. As long as you could touch the bag with your hand, all was well.
You know what a lot of guys were good at was sliding and rolling. Now by that, folks, I mean you come in and slide, and then you get your body almost parallel to from second to third base line, and you roll into the middle infield, whoever's turning the double play.
Or if you were Hal McRae, you went into that roll and took the second baseman all the way into left field.
Yep. Hal was probably the best at it.
Rosario chops one down to Camargo. And this throw on target, that retires the side. After 4 at Citi Field, Mets 1, Braves nothing. Tri-State Audi dealers take a test drive today. By Verizon, the most awarded network is now the best streaming network. There's the bullpen cart. And by Citi, preferred card of the New York Mets. Tug will be forever associated with that Mets bullpen cart.
Screwball. No, it came in with the fastball. Upstairs with the heater. He didn't throw hard, Tug, you know. But he was just a competitor.
And he had energy, man.
I love Tug. I never played with him, played against him.
Lost him far too young to brain cancer.
I was out twice with him. I forget what year. He was with Philly. We were playing in the Dominican Republic. We went down in spring training and played 3 games around the Dominican Republic in 3 days. We played the Phillies. And we stayed at that resort in a beautiful hotel in San Domingo. And so I had a couple cocktails with Tug. I had laughed all night.
Inciarte slaps one just foul. Well, he could keep you entertained.
Oh, yeah. He popped into a lanes one night, packed, just out of the blue, a ball by himself. And sat down at the table. It was a jovial night.
Frank Edwin McGraw. And Wheeler strikes out Inciarte with a curveball. 7 strikeouts for Zach tonight. Second time he's gotten Inciarte with the same pitch. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, I have to be totally honest with you right now. I'm looking for my camera. Am I on the right spot?
Yeah.
There I am. Okay, we got it back. That was gone for a little bit. Speaking of being gone for a little bit, Ender Inciarte, the first half of the season, he did not look like his old self. Certainly has not looked great here this series, but has looked a lot better the last couple of weeks this season. He's a guy that the first half of the season, he was struggling mightily to catch up to the fastball. He was out in front on off-speed pitches, rolling over a lot of things. And him and hitting coach Kevin Seitzer were really trying to throw anything against the wall and see what would stick. They tried changing his approach. They tried adding a leg kick. Nothing worked until a couple of weeks ago, a rain out in Washington, where he came in anyway with Seitzer, and they tried one last hurrah, I guess, one last shot at just changing something else, and that was to pull his hands way back, almost to the extreme, to get himself into ready position a little bit earlier. He had always been a guy with a take back. For some reason, that clicked in, and over the last 11 games, he's hitting just about 350 now. So Inciarte seems like he's back.
Sounds like a golf instructor. You know, Bernie Carbo was one of those guys that had multiple stances. Bernie went 0 for 4. He would take BP the next day and have a completely try different stance.
Cal Ripken was like that. Rod Carew. Great hitters who used different stances depending on how they were feeling, who the pitcher was.
And by the way, Wheeler just pouring in strikes, Gare. We're in the 5th here. Another tight ball game. Another impressive performance. I know he's halfway through.
7 strikeouts for Zach tonight. Flowers dribbles one. It'll be tough to get him. And Wheeler will put it in his pocket. A rare infield hit for the slow-footed Tyler Flowers. Just a perfectly placed swinging bunt. Just the second hit for the Braves. Freeman had the first in the 4th inning. So 1 out and 1 on for Dansby Swanson, who grounded out to third base his first time up. Just to give you an idea how dominant Wheeler has been lately against right-hand hitters. Coming into tonight, over the last 10 starts, right-hand hitters were hitting 171 against him with just 2 extra base hits in those 10 starts.
He's only given up 11 home runs this year, Gary.
That's good.
That's terrific. And he's around 124 and 2/3 to be exact. So that is a low home run rate.
I'm interested to see when we get toward the end of the season whether they're going to cap his innings. I mean, he's in an unusual circumstance, right? That's a double play ball right at Rosario. The turn by McNeil in plenty of time. 6-4-3 double play gets Wheeler through the 5th. Wheeler continues to excel halfway through. 1-0 Mets. brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Fifth inning recap presented by Aetna, Better Health of New Jersey. Zach Wheeler on his game yet again tonight. 5 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts against a team that hits and does not strike out very much. Kevin Gausman in his Braves debut has been almost as good. Mets were able to scratch out a run in the second with some good base running by Todd Frazier. And the Mets take a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the fifth. 8, 9, and 1 in the Mets batting order. Kevin Plawecki will lead off against Gausman, 27 years old. You know, we mentioned it earlier that Gausman was the 4th overall pick in the draft when he came out of college in 2012. And you think about how many years it's been since the Mets drafted Zach Wheeler, or since the Mets got Zach Wheeler, who was the number 6 pick in the draft for the Giants. I mean, sometimes it takes pitchers longer to find their way, and Gausman is a guy who is still looking for it.
There's a lot of hitters that are late bloomers too.
Do you think it's true as much with hitters as
No,
with pitchers?
I think more so pitchers. I mean, you got 4 at bats, and pitchers go out there with, well, in my day, 9 innings. You know, there's a lot more margin. I shouldn't say margin for error.
Plawecki flies one to shallow left. On comes Acuna, and he gets there. 1 out. Final game of this series tomorrow afternoon. Our coverage begins at 12:30 on SNY. Corey Oswalt will make the start for the Mets. He's been really good his last few starts. Got sent down when Jason Vargas came back, but he's taking Steven Matz's spot tomorrow.
I'm glad Oswalt's back.
Julio Teheran has had a really spotty season for the Braves. There's Wheeler, who flied out his first time up. Zach's having his best offensive season. 8 hits this year, 4 RBIs, including the one in Pittsburgh in his last start. Became the first Met pitcher in 41 years to drive in the only run in a 1-0 game. On comes Markakis to catch his fly ball 2 out. Nino Espinosa, 1977 against the Phillies, was the last Met pitcher to win a 1-0 game where he drove in the only run.
That's right. I forgot Nino broke in with the Mets, was traded to Philadelphia.
And he's another guy who passed away far too young.
Yeah, very young. He had the fro sticking out of his hat, if you remember.
Well, it was the 70s, you know.
Oh, of course.
I mean, nobody had a better throw than Oscar Gamble.
And Jose Cardinal had a nice one.
Here's Nimmo, who's popped up and grounded out. 1 for 9 in the series as he continues to search for it. Gausman has walked 1, struck out 2 tonight, allowed 1 run and 3 hits. Pops a fastball outside, 2-0. Gausman is Atlanta's 11th different starting pitcher this year. Only one team in the National League has used more, and that would be the New York Mets, who have used 12 different starting pitchers. There's a strike, 2-1. I think the days of counting on a staff to use 5 starters for a season is long gone. I think most teams go into the season figuring they'll need at least 7 or 8.
Well, and you wouldn't think so with the pitchers only going 6 innings.
But the reality is guys go on the disabled list more than ever, even though they pitch fewer innings than ever.
Yep. And maybe they should look into that. The powers to be.
Where'd that be? 3-1, and Nimmo takes a walk. Second walk given up by Gausman, and the Mets have a 2-out base runner. Now Flores, Wilmer has grounded out and walked tonight, 0 for 1. So we mentioned earlier that before last night, Wilmer had started 16 straight games at first base, and that was the longest streak for any Mets first baseman this year. The club record for consecutive games started at first base in one season is 110, and you don't have that record. Willie Montañez has the record. Started 110 straight games for the Mets in 1978 at first base. Your longest streak for the Mets was 52.
Yeah, that's
when you got here in 1983.
It's almost a third of a season.
Your career high, though, came as a Cardinal in your MVP season. You started 77 straight games at first base.
One year I played 162, but they weren't starts. I obviously pinched hit and went in for defense. But whenever I got a rest, if it was a close game, I always was stuck out there for defense late.
Like in the clincher.
When I was sick, yeah. Oh.
Thank goodness you made it into the celebration.
Hey, Mags picked up the slack, boy. He had a big night that night.
It was like his coming out party, Dave Magadan.
Dave Magadan, right. Hey, we had such a good bench.
Wilmer slams one to right at Albies, and that retires the side. So Gausman gets fortunate. Hard hit ball by Flores results in an out. Still 1-0 after 5. Sixth inning, Zach Wheeler with 5 scoreless innings under his belt tonight. Facing the pitcher Kevin Gausman, who struck out looking his first time up. So if you go back 2 starts, Wheeler faced the Padres, had a rough beginning to that game, but retired its last 12 hitters. Then 6 scoreless innings against the Pirates, and 5 more tonight. So he's working on a string of 15 consecutive scoreless innings.
Good. I love what I'm seeing, Gare.
One-two coming, and this is low. 2-2. Acuna and Albies to follow. Wheeler's given up 2 hits tonight. He's walked 1, struck out 7. Gausman still looking for his first big league hit. Makes contact. Baby steps.
He's not going to have a whole lot of success up there with that swing. I mean, you can knock the bat out of his hand. If he comes in with a 98 mile an hour heater, inside.
Or a curveball.
I wouldn't waste my time with the breaking ball. Just come right in on his hands.
Well, he's 3-2. Got to throw a fastball down the middle here. Can't be walking the pitcher in a one-run game. And he gets a chopper over the mound. McNeil to his right, scoops it, and throws out Gosman, one away. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Eamon? Good for Asdrubal. He looks really weird in that red uniform, but good for him.
What kind of red would you call that Philly?
Cherry.
Is that what it is? Okay.
I don't know.
It's a really
Temple is cherry. So they're
so
a little darker.
It's almost like a. I don't want to say carnation.
Because for a while there, the Phillies had maroon as their main color, and then they went back to more of a red.
It's a really off-color red in their uniform. I remember as a kid, the one thing I always remembered was the large numbers on the back, and they were different. A different type.
Yes, they were huge. Those numbers.
Yes,
took up almost the whole back of the uniform. The four players had the names on the back.
Yep. I remember my dad took us to a game Jim Bunning pitched when I was a kid, which was fun.
Acuna fouls back a fastball.
Back in the days of Don Demeter.
Going and getting him in center field. Don Demeter. Wasn't there Steve Demeter too?
I don't know.
Don Demeter played for the Tigers.
Yes, he did, but he came over to the Phillies. Or else the Phillies traded him to the Tigers. I don't know which. He had Johnny Callison out in right field.
Of course, Bunning as well played for the Tigers.
Yes, he did.
Before he came to the Phillies.
Yes, he did.
1-2 coming. Slider off the plate. 2-2 to Acuna, who has struck out and flied out tonight. Zach blew him away with fastballs his first time up. And he gets him looking on a splitter that caught the inside corner. His 8th strikeout of the night. 2 out and nobody on. Verizon trivia question for tonight. Well, if you're a Met fan,
oh yeah, we know
certain
that.
age, you know this one. The only player to hit safely with 2 different teams on the same day.
Originally a Cincinnati Red.
Had a great arm.
Great guy.
Infield and the outfield.
Great arm. Great friend. Played against him in AAA.
Ozzie Albies has to move his feet for the second time tonight.
That AAA team for the Reds had Ray Knight, Pat Darcy, Eddie Armbruster. They had a good team. That was Vern Rapp's team. Vern Rapp was the manager.
Some guys who wound up playing in the World Series for the Reds in '75.
Yep, they never got to start, but they were part of that team. Darcy started, and I think Pat Carroll too. I think that was his first name.
Clay Carroll. Nice stop by Wilmer, and he runs to the bag to get Albies. There's a highlight play by Wilmer Flores. He took a double away from Albies.
Well, he's right on that line.
Mickey Callaway said he needed a day off last night because he was struggling defensively. No struggle there for Wilmer. 1-0 Mets. Now a podcast. Listen to their newest episode with Wilmer Flores as they discuss his major league debut, his walk-offs, and why there are so many Wilmers in his family. Michael Conforto laces one into center field, and he's got a leadoff hit in the bottom of the 6th. Second hit of the night for Conforto.
Jumped on a first pitch fastball.
So the Mets have their 4th hit of the night. Conforto has half of them, and now Todd Frazier, who has scored the only run in this game. He was hit by a pitch to lead off the 2nd, took 3rd on Jeff McNeil's double, and then when Ahmed Rosario hit a slow grounder to 3rd, Frazier waited just long enough and broke for home on the throw to 1st and was able to score the only run of the game. He gets jammed by Gausman and fouls one off. Kevin Gausman in his Braves debut has certainly held up his end, but Wheeler has been just a tad better. And misses down with a splitter, 1-1. Jeff McNeil, who already has 2 hits tonight, waiting on deck, so that's 4 hits. Conforto 2, McNeil 2, and everybody else waiting. Frazier 0 for 9 since coming off the disabled list. And he hits a double play ball. No, it's past Swanson and into left center. Conforto will stop at second as Acuna gets to it quickly. That ball had a lot of pace on it, and Swanson, who normally has terrific range, couldn't get there.
And I thought he had a chance for this. Under the oh, he didn't get there.
Ball was just hit too hard. So the Mets with back-to-back hits to start the 6th inning. Frazier snaps an 0 for 16 stretch dating back to before his DL stint. And now McNeil with 1st and 2nd and nobody out.
2 for 2 on the night, McNeil.
McNeil hit one that short hopped the wall and left for a double. Then he hit a ground ball just to the right of second base that Swanson got to but bobbled. That was scored an infield hit. Camargo in on the grass at 3rd. McNeil not bunting, and he fouls one at the plate.
So look at the defense, Gary, on the infield. If you hit a ball to the right side of second base up the middle that Albies can't get to and the shortstop makes the play, you can't turn a double play. It was on the right side of the bag. You can't turn it.
We've seen that happen this year, usually with a more drastic shift than that.
I don't want to give that double play away.
Braves bullpen is getting busy now with Gausman at 82 pitches for the night. Shane Carl is the first man up. Gausman pitching on a full week's rest. He threw 106 pitches in 7 innings in his last start for the Orioles.
And we mentioned earlier, look at the bat of McNeil. He chokes up around 2 inches, and that is a war club. And I think it's a 34 ounce, which is very heavy for today's players. No knob.
Now, how much weight do you think is in the knob normally?
I never thought of it.
Shaves maybe a half an ounce off?
You know, when they weigh a bat, they don't lay the bat horizontal. They put the barrel down and put it on the scale, you know, vertical.
Yeah.
So.
But weight is weight.
I understand. Good cut, just under it. Well, there's a situation where you had your pitch and you had a good cut at it and you just fouled it back.
Two. Fights that one off. 2-2 from Gosman to McNeil, and he rifles one to right field. Markakis will have to play it on the hop. Conforto held up. He'll go to third and stop there, and the Mets have the bases loaded with nobody out.
I don't know what Michael was thinking there. He's got to score in that ball.
McNeil is 3 for 3, a double and now 2 singles.
I mean, off-speed pitch. Covers it. There's no way that Inciarte, I'm sorry, Markakis is going to catch that ball. You got to know where your outfielders are. That's just, boy, oh boy.
Gosman's starting to get that splitter up a little bit. And Brian Snitker is on his way out to the mound. He's going to take him out. So Gosman hitting a bit of a wall here in the 6th inning, giving up 3 straight hits, and all were hit hard. And he'll exit with the bases loaded, having gone 5 innings plus in his first National League start. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 1-0 Mets, threatening for more in the 6th. We'll be right back. Shane Carl, another rookie, having a fine season out of the Atlanta bullpen. So 3 Braves rookie relievers last night. Winkler, Biddle, and Minter. They were all terrific. Carl comes into a mess. Bases loaded, nobody out, to face Austin Jackson. Austin is struck out and grounded into a double play. And he goes after a first pitch slider, 0-1.
And in at the corners again defensively, playing back for 2 up the middle.
Conforto, Frazier, and McNeil with consecutive singles to start the 6th against Gosman, who leaves after 5 innings plus, having allowed 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a hit batsman, 1 run so far. And Jackson slams one deep but foul. Austin has 1 grand slam in his big league career. Mets have hit 4 grand slams this year, and they've all been hit by veterans. Jay Bruce, Adrian Gonzalez, Yoenis Cespedes. Yeah, they all used to play for this team. And Jose Bautista.
Carl has a very interesting stretch. Almost doesn't stop, Garrett. Check it out.
Better stop.
Watch. You got a lot of hand movement, a lot of patting of the glove. Stop. Is that his stop? No.
That's a stop up there. Sort of.
Yeah. It's close, isn't it?
Just off the hands on the curveball. 0-2. So Jerry Blevins up in the Mets bullpen. Zach Wheeler has been impeccable so far. 87 pitches through 6 innings. Pitcher's spot is 3 batters away. 0-2 from Carl. And Jackson hits one off the pitcher's leg, and everybody's going to be safe, or one is in. And it's 2-0 New York. Conforto comes in to score on the pinball shot off Shane Carl's leg. Jackson with the RBI, making it 2-0 Mets.
Went to the slider here. Just got the bat on, and that was a base hit. It probably gets through.
So the Mets have put together 4 straight singles to play to run. Still nobody out. Frazier now at third, McNeil at second, and Jackson at first. And now Rosario, who twice has grounded to third base. The first one drove in a run. That was with Frazier at third. And he was able to sneak home on the throw to first. And Rosario chases a breaking ball, 0-1.
That's the slider that Carl wanted to throw the pitch before to Jackson. And there's a case there. Rosario wildly swinging in, chasing a bad breaking ball. It's gotten around the league.
Well, especially in these spots, you know, you talk about it all the time. Bases loaded, nobody out, pitcher's in trouble. Shouldn't be chasing. He lays off that one. Ball and a strike. Shane Carl, brief experience with the Rockies last year. They let him go on waivers, and Braves got him for a bag of balls from the Pirates. And he has turned up as a gem for them this year out of the pen. Part of that extremely young but talented Atlanta bullpen. Rosario fouls off the fastball, 1-2. Long Beach State product, Shane Carl. His 43rd game of the year. Gosman has already seen one of his inherited runners score. 2 more out there. And Rosario goes down on the high fastball for the first out of the inning. Not a good turn at bat for Ahmed.
Well, look at the target, and he puts it right there.
Chase down, chase up. So the bases remain loaded with 1 out for Kevin Plawecki, who's hit 2 fly balls today. He's hitless in his last 9 at bats, and Wheeler is out on deck. And Plawecki tries to lay off, but he went around on the first pitch curveball, and a good block by Flowers. Strike 1.
Flowers is solid behind the plate. He's a good blocker there. He smothers well. He's, for a big guy, he's athletic, and it looks like something Spider-Man would have right there on his forearm. On the underside, though.
Or a quarterback. Slider off the plate to Plawecki, 1-1. So what do you think the deal is with Blevins up in the bullpen? You think if Plawecki, say, strikes out here, that he'd pinch hit for Wheeler to try and get more runs?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I would not. You got 2 lefties, Freeman, Markakis, and Camargo, 3 of them. How you build character.
And now Carl, after the strikeout of Rosario, gets ahead on Plawecki, 1-2.
Particularly when you have a club. I mean, even if you're in contention in every game you're battling, at this point in the season, I leave Wheeler in. But 15 games out,
16.
16, excuse me.
Plawecki grounds one foul. There's only one reason why I would think that they would consider pinch hitting, and that is something we started talking about earlier that we never really got to, is the number of innings that Wheeler's starting to accumulate. And he's an odd case because he threw 185 innings 4 years ago, then he missed 2 years, then he threw 86 innings last year, and he's already at 126 now with almost 2 months to go.
My point is then you just shut him down another start earlier. This is all character building right here. You got the meat of the order, 2 of the very best hitters are coming up. You got a 2-0 lead. You go running out there in the 7th inning. That's how you build character. Find out what he's made of.
And Plawecki takes a slider that just misses. 2-2. Well, I'm with you. I mean, especially when he's pitching so well.
Yes. He's throwing a shutout.
Although he came out after 6 with a similar pitch count in his last start in Pittsburgh, threw 89 in that game. He's thrown 87 so far today. And that was a 1-0 game. But for the moment, he's out on deck. Might depend what Plawecki does here. We'll see.
High target. Nope.
2-2. And he missed the outside corner with a fastball at 97. Hardest pitch he's thrown. And now it's a full count with the bases full.
Just missed. Good eye.
So Johnny Venters, the veteran left-hander who has returned to the Braves, up in the bullpen. Three-two coming, and Plawecki bounces one foul. Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming from Carl to Plawecki. And Kevin skies one. Not that deep in left center. And it's going to be Acuna to catch it. Here comes Frazier to challenge Acuna. The throw on a hop gets away from Flowers. And Frazier steals another run. It's 3-0 New York. Quite a night on the bases for Frazier, this time challenging Acuna, who did not make a great throw. Sacrifice fly for Plawecki makes it 3-0.
Well, we've seen one flaw in Acuna's game here, and that he just did not get in the position to throw. He hasn't got a strong arm at all. And really, Enciarte, the center fielder, is the Gold Glover. He's got to call it off. He just pulled away, and he's got to be the guy to get that ball. He's got the arm to throw Frazier out.
I could not agree with you more. Even though he's running to his glove side there, Enciarte, he's definitely the better option. They appeal at third, and they say Frazier did not leave too soon. And now Wheeler is going to stay in to bat for himself. So Frazier, who snuck home a run on a ground ball, does the same on a fly ball, and his base running has helped the Mets to a couple of runs. So now Wheeler bats for the third time. He's flied out twice. McNeil now at second. Jackson at first with 2 out. And a first pitch breaking ball grounded. Freeman underhands to Carl, and that's the 3rd out. But the Mets cash a pair in the 6th inning. And now Wheeler with a little more breathing room. 3-0 going to the 7th. Zach Wheeler is now working on a career-high string of 16 consecutive scoreless innings, and he heads back to the mound for the 7th. And 87 pitches for the night, now with a 3-0 lead after the Mets scratched out a pair in the bottom of the 6th. It's a long inning, so Wheeler sat for quite a while before taking the turn at bat to at the bottom of the 6th. He'll get the heart of the batting order, Freeman, Markakis, and Camargo, and so Jerry Blevins was up in the last inning, staying busy, and I imagine he'll be ready as well here in the 7th.
Now, if he gives up a base hit to Freeman, don't yank him. Let him work through it.
Freeman had the first hit for the Braves tonight, a single to right center in the 4th. Braves have only had 2 hits tonight. And a first pitch curveball outside for ball 1.
That's really the first breaking ball he's thrown that he just didn't get it, didn't snap it.
So it's not Blevins, but Robert Gazelman who gets up. And the fastball off the plate 2-0, and that velocity on that fastball is 94. So after that long inning, 2 less than quality pitches,
there you go.
It comes back with a better fastball, and it's 2-1.
I mean, in today's game, Zach's got to know with 90 pitches, this is my last inning. Let me tear through this middle of this lineup. Let me have a 1-2-3. Do you agree with me?
I think it would be a wonderful thing for Zach to be able to work through these dangerous hitters.
I mean, you got a 3-run lead. Go after him. Which he is.
Two to Freeman. That's drilled down the right field line toward the corner, and that'll bounce up against the wall, and Freeman heads for second. His second hit of the night, a leadoff double in the 7th.
That's just good hitting. I am sorry. Everything was away, that hole at bat, and he comes inside and it's up, and Freddie turns on it. I mean, sometimes you just gotta tip your hat. He can flat hit.
Bounced it right into the U in Hub. 28th double of the year for Freeman, who is now 10 for 19 against Wheeler. So now Markakis, who has walked and struck out. He has seen a ton of pitches from Wheeler tonight, 16 in his first 2 plate appearances. And a 9-pitch at bat before Wheeler struck him out with a splitter his last time up. And Markakis with a half swing. He went around on a slider at his feet, and it's 0-2.
Well, for some reason, Markakis took the first pitch, which was a fastball right down the middle, and he gets a hard slider and he couldn't lay off. I mean, after your 3rd at bat, you've seen Zach for your first 2 at bats. Me as a hitter, I'm first ball fastball hitting after my first at bat. I've seen all of his pitches. I don't need to take a strike. I don't want to. The quality stuff he has, I don't want to go 0-1. If I'm getting the fastball first pitch, I'm covering it or trying to.
Switch hitting Johan Camargo on deck. And the curveball just missed. It's the second one like that tonight that Cedarstrom has not called, saying it wrapped around the plate.
I think it missed. But this is a really good pitch for Zach against a left-hander. That little drop, that off-speed curve on the outside corner.
Now the 2-2 comes back with the curve, flied out to center field where Jackson is waiting. Freeman tags at second. He's not going anywhere as Jackson throws a strike to third. 1 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has another game break. Eamon. Matt'll be here with the Reds on Monday, but will not be pitching in that 3-game series. Here's Johan Camargo, who's lined out and flied out 0 for 2.
That'll turn him loose on Manhattan.
I want to know, when the Reds get here on Monday night, will there be a Matt Harvey tribute video? Curveball in for a strike. I've asked a lot of people that today, just their opinion about whether they thought it would happen, and the response has been about 50-50. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, in one respect, he was an iconic figure in the history of this franchise for, for several years. On the other hand, things didn't end well. So.
It was a comet.
Yes, he was. Burning brightly and burning out.
Icarus.
Well, that was self-inflicted.
Well,
you fly too close to the sun. Most people thought the Reds were going to trade Harvey before the trading deadline, but that didn't happen. Wheeler ahead 1-2 on Camargo.
Oh,
and he got in on his fists. Remember the day of Wheeler's debut in Atlanta? Mets played a doubleheader. And,
vaguely.
And Wheeler pitched the second game. And Harvey, who had, he'd come up the year before and he had shown so brightly, it was almost as though, wait a second, you're bringing somebody else in the spotlight. And he went out and he pitched a gem that day against the Braves. And then Wheeler pitched the nightcap and threw 6 terrific innings in his debut.
That's the wrong kind of incentive to do well.
Whatever works. 1-2. Curveball struck him out. Number 9 for Zach Wheeler, matching his season high.
Wicked. There's that curveball on the outside corner gear that I talked about earlier. This one he gets, throws it for a strike. Oh, look at him blowing bubbles in the middle of the swing. That's impressive.
The timing mechanism.
But not as impressive as the pitch.
So 2 out. Freeman, after a leadoff double, is still at second. And here's Inciarte, who's been up twice and struck out swinging both times. And he slams one to right. Coming on is Nimmo to dive and make the catch. Side retired.
Nice.
Inciarte hit a bullet. Nimmo equal to the task. Another scoreless inning for Wheeler. That's 17 in a row.
Nice.
Nimmo picks it off. Stretch time, 3-0 New York. Minors on the Mets Minor League Report. Check it out on Mets blog, presented by Citi, featured on SNY.TV. One of the great comeback stories in baseball this or any other year, Johnny Venters in to pitch for the Braves. Former All-Star with Atlanta. 3.5 Tommy John surgeries, 6 years on the sidelines. Made it back to the big leagues this year with Tampa Bay and reacquired by the Braves. Now making his third outing since Atlanta got him back.
Well, I remember when he came up, and when you throw a hard sinker like Venters did, it's tough on the old elbow.
They had such a lights-out bullpen with Venters, O'Flaherty, and Kimbrel at the ends of games. They were just about untouchable. But they worked Venters hard. He threw in 85 games in 2011, his All-Star season. And it was during 2012 that he went down. And so call strike 3 gets Nimmo looking at a fastball. So Venters with a strikeout to start his stint, and we check in with Steve.
Gary, it's safe to say that nobody appreciates being here now more than Johnny Venters does. I was speaking with him a little bit about it today. He said, I know it's kind of an old cliche, but I really do try and soak in every day because I don't know how long this is going to last. He said every time he walks into stadiums, he stops, takes a look around, soaks it in. He brings his family, I should say, on many more trips because he wants his 2 young boys to see him pitch. And he said, looking back on it, he wishes he did that more when he first came up, but he was feeling so good. There was never a part of him that thought it may be over soon. So certainly now he has a different level of appreciation.
Wilmer hits a 2-hopper to Albies, and that's the second out.
Wilmer, 2 bullets tonight, right at the second baseman.
Venters is now 33 years old. His first year in the big leagues was 2010. He had a 1.95 ERA that year. His next year, the year he was in 85 games, 1.84.
Yep.
And so he was just lights out from the moment he arrived in the major leagues.
Well, he and Kimbrel were the back end of that bullpen, left and right, and O'Flaherty was kind of in the middle.
Kimbrel saving games in Boston these days. And now Venters back with the Braves. Conforto has 2 hits tonight. 2 of them at 7. 2 line drives, 1 to right center and 1 to center field. Todd Frazier's had a big hand in this game. He's on deck. Bobby Wall is up in the Mets bullpen. Looks like he might get a fairly high leverage spot in the 8th inning. Wheeler's at 104 pitches through 7. I don't know for certain that he's done, but I think it's probable that he is. And Wall, who was impressive in his first appearance earlier in this series, looks like he'll get the 8th. And Venters gets the slider over for a strike, 2-2.
He kind of rushes, doesn't really go down, kind of short arms it. Oh.
Three-2 to Conforto. And he strikes him out with a slider. So a successful inning for Venters. He gets the Mets out 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. We go to the 8th at Citi Field. Wall coming in, 3-0 New York. Got the win this afternoon for the Cubs as they beat the Padres, who just keep sinking. The Phillies pouring it on the Marlins tonight as Dribble Cabrera, his first home run as a Phil. The Nationals lost the first game of the doubleheader to the Reds, but they lead the nightcap. Juan Soto, first teenager to get multiple hits in both ends of a doubleheader in over 40 years. That's pretty good, right? Cardinals lead the Pirates. They're a game behind Pittsburgh in the standings. Well, Zach Wheeler did his job, 7 scoreless innings, and now Bobby Wall in his second appearance for the Mets will try and hold the Braves down in the 8th.
He was very impressive last 2 nights ago. The opener had 2/3 of an inning, came in throwing very hard.
Tyler Flowers leads off in the 8th for Atlanta. He's got one of the 3 Atlanta hits, and he hits one in the air to left center. Closing on the ball, Jackson and Conforto makes the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out for Wall. Let's answer our Verizon trivia question. Only player to hit safely for 2 teams in the same day is Joel Youngblood.
Yep. JoJo.
It was on this date in 1982.
Also on this date was the Robin Ventura charging of the mound with Nolan Ryan.
Many noogies ensued. Here's Dansby Swanson. And he takes a fastball away from Wall. Swanson has grounded out twice, once into a double play. Adam Duvall out on deck to pinch hit. They do have a left-handed bat on the bench, Ryan Flaherty, but Duvall, a right-hand swinger, on deck. Bobby Wall, one of the 2 players the Mets acquired when they traded Jeurys Familia to Oakland. The A's continue to excel. They won in the 13th inning last night, 1-0 over Detroit, their 4th straight win. They're now a game and a half clear of Seattle for that second wild card spot in the American League, after they were 11 games behind on the 15th of June. Astros have a 5-game lead in the division, so Oakland is still in contention for that, but they've got that second wild card spot to themselves. And they're just 4 games behind the Yankees now after the Yankees lost today for the first wild card spot. So Oakland has been quite the juggernaut.
How about that?
Trying to go 20 games over 500 tonight. And you know, when you do something like Oakland's doing, you need lots of contributions. Last night they called up a guy named Ramon Laureano, and his first big league hit was a walk-off hit in the bottom of the 13th inning. First big league game.
Wow.
Welcome to the big leagues. Swanson slices one down the right side. That'll go foul. 3-2. To Swanson. Line, base hit. Conforto scoops it up, and Swanson has a 1-out single. Only the 4th Atlanta hit of the night. So Swanson's first hit in the series.
Covered that fastball down in the zone, strike zone. Hate that zone.
And now Adam Duvall, who made his Braves debut in the opening game of this series Thursday night, went 0 for 3 and a walk after coming over from Cincinnati at the deadline. Hitting just .204, but 15 home runs after 30 plus the last 2 years. And he drives one to center. Jackson coming on and drops for a base hit. So back-to-back base hits by Swanson and Duvall. And just like that, the Braves will get the tying run to the plate in the 8th inning.
With top of the order.
So Duvall's first hit as a Brave. And it comes in a big spot.
Didn't hit it hard. Got a little in on him. Not enough. Just kind of muscled it out into center field.
So Wall in his first difficult spot as a Met. Robert Gazelman up behind him, but he'll get at least one more batter as Acuna steps in. 0 for 3 tonight. Struck out twice and flied out against Wheeler. And Wall's first pitch slider swung and missed. Wheeler went 7, allowed no runs, 3 hits, a walk, 9 strikeouts, 104 pitches. Now 17 straight scoreless innings for Zach, a career high. His ERA down to 3.89. He was great. Wall trying to pick him up. And Acuna
good
took that slider for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Swung on a bad one and had to take that one. That was a wicked slider right there.
Ozzie Albies on deck. Swanson at second, Duvall at first with 1 out. Fouls off the curveball.
Good cut on that one. Be careful. Kind of throw a get me over there. Head 0-2. You got to snap it. Snappy Tom.
Fastball runs inside. 1-2 to Acuna. One-two from Wall. Curveball struck him out. 2 men down.
Tough night for Acuna.
Third time he's been struck out tonight. Ozzie Albies, the switch hitter, coming up.
Slider. Good one.
So Wall gets 2 outs, gives up 2 hits. He'll exit, and Gazelman will come in to try and get the final out of the 8th inning. Mets up 3-0. We'll be right back.
Well, you see how he is effective he is against the left-handers with the sinker and inherited runners. He's been quite successful.
Ozzie Albies, though, has had success against Gazelman. 3 hits and 8 career at-bats. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He was robbed by Wilmer Flores his last time up. Terrific diving stop by Wilmer. Curveball hit toward the hole, run down by McNeil. Flores gets back to the bag in time, and they get the out to retire the side. Nicely done by McNeil. Good recovery by Flores to get to the bag. One pitch from Gazelman, and he gets the third out of the inning behind Bobby Wall.
Well, the shift comes through here. Would you say last couple weeks ago, Garrett, perhaps was a base hit for around 130 years?
Not tonight. 3-0 to the bottom of the 8th. Tonight's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Kevin Gausman, pretty good in his first start for the Braves. Zach Wheeler, outstanding yet again for the Mets tonight. 17 straight scoreless innings for Zach with his 7 tonight. And now the lefty Max Fried will pitch in the bottom of the 8th for Atlanta.
Los Angeles young man, 25 2/3, getting lefties out. That's the one thing I look for. A lot of left-handers have a hard time getting lefties out.
He's made 4 starts this year. This will be his 5th relief appearance. Todd Frazier greets him with a ground ball right into the shift to Albies. That's a 4-3 putout, 1 pitch and 1 out in the home 8th. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Jeff McNeil has had himself a big night. His first career multiple hit game, and he's had 3. He doubled to left in the 2nd, an infield hit in the 4th, and then a hard single to right in the 6th.
Yeah, that last base hit to right, it should have had a big RBI on it. He's had a nice night at the plate.
It's another one sharply, and he's got his 4th hit of the night. Jeff McNeil with a 4-for-4 evening. Inciarte throws behind him, but McNeil hops back to the bag, and Jeff McNeil is 4-for-4.
Very nice. Stays in on the left-hander.
Began the night hitting 190. He's now hitting 320. The beauty of small sample sizes.
Yes, that's right. It's a roller coaster. Doesn't really settle down until you get around 300 at bats. Then it kind of waters has seeked its level.
Here's Austin Jackson, who had an infield hit to drive in a run his last time up. It's the 6th 4-hit game for a Met this year. The last one all the way back on June 18th. Brandon Nimmo in Colorado. And now Jeff McNeil, who had 4 big league hits starting the night. He has 4 more tonight. And Jackson takes one the other way for a base hit. McNeil will go first to third. Jackson will hold it first as Markakis gets it in. And the Mets have first and third and one out. Second hit of the night for Austin Jackson as he goes the other way.
Boy, that ball was ripped. Oh, cutter right down the pipe, went right the other way with it belt high, stayed nice and level. Mets have a chance to tack on here.
3 hitters in the inning. They've all put the first pitch into play against Max Fried. And now Rosario, who is 0 for 3, drove on a run with a ground out in the second. Since then, grounded out and struck out.
Playing back for 2 up the middle.
Would you try a squeeze to see if Rosario can do it?
Not let him hit.
And again, he chases a first pitch breaking ball out of the strike zone as he did in his last at bat with the bases loaded.
To some hitters, it just looks like a big old banana split coming in, you know, and it's not. And they can't lay off.
Just want you to know, if you hit a banana split, it's not going anywhere. Chopped off the plate down to third, a foul ball. And it's 0-2. And the only chance you have is if the ice cream is like really frozen hard. Then maybe it might travel a little bit.
Right.
But the banana, no way. Even if you freeze the banana, it's just going to splinter when you hit it.
Even a Tortufo wouldn't work.
Oh, 0-2 to Rosario. And he goes down swinging on a high fastball, and boy, his last couple of at-bats with men on base have been fruitless.
Well, they got him twice up the ladder there. 2 strikeouts with a breaking balls, got ahead and went upstairs to get him.
So Fried now with a chance to get through the inning. First and third and 2 out for Plawecki, who delivered a run with a sacrifice fly his last time up. McNeil at third, Jackson at first with 2 out. We'll say Bautista around the bat rack with the pitcher due up next. And Plawecki takes wide for ball 1. Coming up tonight after the post game, Geico Sports Night. The Giants' only player speaks. Jets have a scrimmage, and the Yankees lost their 4th in a row. Jerry Blevins getting up, so if the Mets pinch hit, then Blevins might get a save chance in the 9th. But first, it's Plawecki trying to keep the inning going. And a check in on Jackson. Jackson has 3 steals this year, 1 since joining the Mets. In the 9th inning, the Braves will have Freeman, Markakis, and Camargo, so why not Blevins?
Yeah.
Other than the fact that Freeman has had great numbers against Jerry. Curveball from Fried misses, ball 2. There's Bautista getting a night off tonight. He's been really struggling lately. Coming up after we're done here, it's WB Mason Post Game Live. Gary Apple, Jim Duquette will have all the highlights, all the analysis, all the interviews, everything you could possibly want in a post game show. It'll all be there right after we're done here.
You don't have to sell it to me, Gary. Huh? I understand.
Those guys are good.
You're preaching to the choir.
2-1 to Plawecki, and the curveball bounced foul. The Braves bullpen has been unscored upon in this series. 3 scoreless innings Thursday, 3 scoreless innings last night. 2 2/3 scoreless so far today. McNeil at third, Jackson at first with 2 out. And Plawecki takes the curveball away, and it's 3-2. So now Jackson will get an automatic start. Max Fried, no relation to Dave.
Thank goodness.
Dave's right-handed. 3-2. Foul back.
Okay.
Seventh pitch coming from Fried to Plawecki. And Kevin takes strike 3 called, side retired. So Fried works his way out of trouble with back-to-back strikeouts to keep the game at 3-0 as we go to the ninth. Trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Robert Gazelman, who got the final out in the 8th, will stay on to start the 9th. He's got Freddie Freeman in front of him, then Markakis and Camargo. Freeman has good numbers against Gazelman, not the great numbers that he has against Blevins. He's 6 for 18 against Gazelman, 12 for 24 against Blevins. Freddie tonight has 2 of the Braves' 5 hits, a single and a double. And takes the first pitch sinker for a strike, 0-1.
There's the judicious outside corner. Gary Cederstrom is noted for, the home plate umpire.
And a nice curveball by Gazelman, and Freeman went around.
That was a wicked breaking ball.
And he threw a first pitch curve to Albies to get him to ground out, and the only pitch he threw in the 8th. Now he's ahead on Freeman, 0-2. And he comes back with a curveball and misses, 1-2. Statcast AI powered by Amazon Web Services. Full shift against Freeman. One-two coming. Fouled away. The Braves have been shut out only 5 times this year. Only the Cardinals and Diamondbacks have been shut out fewer in the National League. They've each been blanked 4 times. This is a very tough Atlanta team. Wheeler shut him down for 7. Wall and Gazelman got him out in the 8th. And Freeman waits on the curb but grounds it to second. McNeil hurrying in, makes the push throw for the first out. A big first out for Gazelman in the top of the 9th.
Like a little backhand. Nicely done.
McNeil's handled his position well tonight. He's 4 for 4 as well. 1 out in the 9th, and now Markakis, who was 0 for 2 in a walk tonight. Gazelman trying to save it for Zach Wheeler, who was wonderful again tonight for 7 innings. Gave up just 3 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Wheeler is in line to win his 4th consecutive start. No Met pitcher has done that this year. Slowly hit, another chance for McNeil hurrying in. This time the cross body throw for the second out. So McNeil makes another play, and the Braves are down to their final out of the 9th. We have Johan Camargo coming up. Last time a Met pitcher won 4 straight starts, it was last year. Remember when the Mets occasionally used to score a run or 2 for Jacob deGrom?
Yes.
He won 8 straight starts last year. And now Wheeler trying to become the first Met to win 4 straight since that. Camargo slashes 1 foul. Camargo's lined out, flied out, and struck out. 0 for 3. Gazelman trying for his 6th save of the year. He's retired his first 3 hitters. He needs 1 more. Curveball line the other way, foul. And now the Braves are down to their final strength. He has really liked his curveball tonight.
He's got a good spin rate, Gary.
Lugo-esque. 0-2 to Camargo. Line, 1 hopper. McNeil appropriately throws him out, and the ball game is over. McNeil makes the last 4 plays behind Gazelman, who gets 4 outs for the save. Zach Wheeler wins for a 4th straight start with 7 scoreless innings. Good base running by Todd Frazier, contributing to 2 Met runs, and the Mets blank the Braves 3-0.
Well, the story tonight is that Wheeler just continues to deal. This is his 12th start now where he's been on a roll. 4 in a row, as Gary mentioned. 9 strikeouts against a club that does not strike out. 7 strong shutout innings, 3-hit ball. Gazelman with the save, and the Mets kind of just chipped away on their 3 runs. And it's always good to beat a team that's in contention.
Jeff McNeil, a 4-hit game, doubling his career hit total. Game summary presented by Spectrum. Wheeler, 17 straight scoreless innings now, gets his record even at 6-6 with a 3.89 ERA, winning his 4th straight start. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Cass Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/cats. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $112,500. Mets snap a 4-game losing streak, and they snap the Braves' 5-game winning streak as they put the finishing touches on a shutout victory. Big night for Jeff McNeil. Big night for Zach Wheeler as the Mets shut out the Braves 3-0. More coming up from Citi Field in just a moment.